Welcome back to my channel. It's Krista here to do the weekly reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. If you don't know your Moon and Rising sign, Taurus, there's a link in the description box where you can find your whole birth chart. And that way, for additional information for the week, you can always check out your Moon and Rising sign readings in addition to your Sun sign reading today. So this is for Taurus for the week of August 29th to September 5th. We'll be using the Wisdom of the Oracle deck for a 3-card spread, and then as always drawing from the Healing with the Angels Tarot and the Medicine card Tarot for additional information. Whatever is most prominent in your life this week, Taurus, I'll encourage you to apply these messages to, and whatever you find here that's helpful in healing, that's what I wish for you to take from it. So we're looking at general issues for your sign. And I'll be asking, what does your sign need to know? So just as a disclaimer, I did several readings earlier today and they all recorded without audio. So I'm actually doing this again for you. So I'm going to point out any duplicate cards that I see here, or if it's just a totally new, fresh look at the week. I do regret not being able to share the other one. It was really lovely. So let's see what the second reading has in store for you, and what does Taurus need to know? Oh, I really thought that was going to flip. All right, let's get one more jump right here. If we don't get one in the next couple shuffles, I'll draw from the center for you. Okay. And bottom of the deck. Okay, so these are all fresh cards. So let's get a nice little snapshot of what is going on for you this week. Like I said, I'm going to look at all cards here and just get an idea of what's going on, generally speaking. You feel as if you go piece by piece, bit by bit, in sequence, chapter by chapter. You will give yourself a greater chance of healing and mending. And I perceive that to be correct. You're not only thinking about doing that, you are going to be participating in doing that because you've made up your mind to do this. This is really important to you. Whatever you are taking on this week, Taurus, is very, very important to you. You might have even been contemplating this for an enormous amount of time. And I mean literally like decades, if you're over 20. You might have even been looking for the answers. You might have even been open to something that has only recently come to your consciousness, or that you've only become conscious of. And you're extremely excited for this because your motivation, your goal, your desired outcome is mending. Not only relationships, but of course your health, any type of healing. And you have a great deal of support right now. You have someone who's really cheering you on and you feel very supported. You're also going to be able to give back to your community or family by participating in this process. So this is actually really beautiful. I really love this for you, and this is definitively an action plan. Okay, so let's look at each card and I will explain why I've said this. So we have a leg up as general energy for the week. This is the support that you're going to be feeling. So someone will have been able to help you out. You're going to be able to help them out in return. And it's just nature. It's going to be very natural to you both. It could very well be a family member or someone whom you've made family, right? It could be a friend or a coworker. who's incredibly important to you, who is helping you through this and helping you get to the next stage here. Or you might have just been inspired by someone close to you in order to make this trip into mending by doing things a very certain way. It's not like you're willy-nilly doing mending work. This is a game plan, and you have a definitive outcome here. So this is wonderful. In the central position, this represents you, and this is by the book. This is someone absolutely following the rules, but not to be a downer or not just to be a stickler for rules. You're seeing here that something has phases and stages, like deliberate stages. It's almost like a math, where you really, especially if you're doing trigonometry, for example, you really need the basics of mathematics before you get to the next sequence of that discipline, and then the higher discipline, and then the higher discipline, right? So this appears to be a lower stage or a first stage or a first crack at taking that route into something. So yeah, this is you putting something into practice here, but acknowledging that it has to go step by step, piece by piece. It's probably actually going to bring a lot of calm, like a little bit of zen into your life, instead of having to do a lot of things at once, or things that you find really confusing or even unnatural. Like everything that's going on right now is going to feel very natural, or it's going to become very natural, or even the healing mechanism, if that's what's going on, or the mending mechanism, will be of a natural source. So yeah, I see you taking steps here, probably by chapter 1 or stage 1, in pursuit of healing and mending for yourself. It could have to do literally with a book. It doesn't have to be a textbook, but it can be a book that is drawing your attention, that you're getting a lot of influence and energy and in healing information from. So this is actually quite lovely to be in this position this week, Taurus. This is the influence to your current position. This is a fork in the road, and it's a literal decision. You've made a concerted effort to make a decision around how you're going to proceed with this. And you've made up your mind. Like, this isn't someone in the throes of a decision. You're not confused. This is something that's already occurred and led you to this place. So you might have even, an example here at other themes you might have looked at before making this decision is by looking at all of your options. And like I said, this could have taken years for you, and you could have tried something for so long and thought it was working, and it turned out it wasn't. Or you put, like I said, you might have put this off and just began to look at it through a different lens, and it became a viable option for you currently. So there is a great deal of wisdom in that decision making, and I think you've thrown off any what do you call oh my heavens, distractions. So you've stopped making excuses for taking this step. You've stopped with the distractions or making excuses. And with the probable outcome being mending, this is gorgeous. This is literally about mending fences, if you will. It's about mending the body, the soul, the mind, the community at large, humanity in general. Anytime we help ourselves and heal, take the time and the energy to heal our own lives, we influence the whole vibration of humanity. And this is what I see happening with you. I think that that's going to start off a little small here. Like I said, it's step by step, piece by piece. But what happens is you start off a little small, and then it grows, and then it gets bigger. It's like quilting an Afghan, or it's like a garden, right? You know, you put all these little seeds in, and they start to sprout, and before you know it, something more beautiful than you can imagine will sprout. So I really see this as this is going to be an ongoing influence in your life, mending and healing, and doing it step by step. In fact, you might have even needed to be told, or needed to convince yourself, or needed to know, certainly one way or the other, if if you needed to do everything at once, or maybe for some reason you talked yourself out of this process previous to this because you did think it would be overwhelming, or you did think it was all or nothing. But through study and contemplation and real deliberate questions and theories, like you've really contemplated this, and like I've said, you've really identified all of your options, and you know what? This is the most fun, the most viable, the most appreciable, perhaps even the most inexpensive way to go about this sort of healing. So yeah, I just don't see you going back on this. This is something that, and you know, once you've set your mind to something, you're probably not going to move away from it too easily either. So I do think this was a long time in the coming, and I just see this growing into a really beautiful, mended, healing environment for yourself. Here we have freedom in conjunction with all these other cards. This is actually beautiful. Like, seriously, actually beautiful, because it's remarkable what things can feel like when you do start to heal. When you get rid of that albatross, that weight on your shoulders, that negative voice in your head, that old pain in your hip, that, you know, that, you know, negative person who doesn't know when to, you know, stop being negative type thing. Like, there is a real definitive freedom here from all that, because you've decided, that decision has been made, and you're learning. It's not like you've just made a decision and then like, I hope it works out. That's not what's going on. You're like, I know it'll work out, because you've looked at all your options. You've actually probably studied, or at least looked at what you're currently engaged in very, very closely in the first place. Not that nothing can have no problems, or that you can't change your mind or anything like that. It's just that you really needed to know really seriously what you're getting into, or what you're going to put your mind and time and energy into. So I really feel like you're satisfied with this decision, and it will bring, or it might already feel as though it's bringing a great deal of freedom into your life, or freedom from these fears, or from this pain, or from feeling stuck. Here we have the owl as your last card. Its keyword is deception. It's kind of a misnomer, but not really. So there's two ways I read this. Deception being beware at the beginning stages of mending your own life, or conducting healing of any sort in your own life, of the naysayers. There are going to be lots of people. Even the more you heal and the more you prove yourself, you're going to meet with greater amounts of naysayers. It's just the way it is. So maybe for the time being, keep these plans a little bit to yourself, or maybe this book, even though you might want to share it right now with everybody, maybe keep it on the down low. Maybe for the next 4 or 8 weeks, when you specifically, no one else needs to know right now, but when you start to feel and see significant changes due to the practices here, or the path that you're taking here toward healing and mending, then I think it's a good idea to talk to other people and say, you know what, I'm going to try this out. I see positives already, and yeah, you know, stay tuned. I'll tell you how it goes. So there could be someone trying to bring you down about this decision. Don't let them. It's a negative energy. It's very powerful energy, because this person might be close to you. On the other hand, this is witches, sorcerers, and sort of warlocks and legends energy here. So there's a lot of psychic energy here. There is a lot of wisdom involved, and there could even be wisdom from the ages, so like ancient wisdom, ancient healing methods here, occult, not that that's a bad word, or even esoteric wisdom here, things that even the general public might actually know. And like I said at the very start, you might have even known this already 20 years ago, but it just didn't appeal to you. It wasn't the right time. Now it is. So you're in a different frame. You're in a different vibration here. You can handle this, and you feel really secure in it. Perhaps it's worked for someone else, or perhaps you see that you can help someone else with it. So you're going to have to let me know how this works out for you. I'm genuinely curious to see. So yeah, let me know how it works out. And if you're not already, subscribe to my channel because I upload videos for your sign every week. So until we meet next time, Taurus, take good care. Bye for now.